Welcome to Daily News in AI Agents, the place to get a quick roundup of the most exciting developments in AI agents every day. Subscribe to our LinkedIn newsletter today in the link below to stay activated.
AI, it's not just making art or writing poems anymore. It's stepping into the real world, like booking our flights, maybe even managing our calendars. We're talking
Yeah.
AI agents, ethical quandaries, a whole lot more. You sent me some articles from The Decoder, The Guardian Venture Beat, even a research paper on how to optimize AI systems. So let's dive in.
Yeah, it is really exciting. We're seeing AI transition from this passive tool to a proactive agent. John Naughton from The Guardian. He compared it to having like Miss Moneypenny on steroids.
Oh, yes. No, I love a good James Bond reference, but what does that actually look like
Right.
practically?
Imagine this. You need to book a flight, right? And instead of endlessly refreshing those travel sites, your AI agent is working in the background. It's monitoring prices, and it only alerts you when there's a significant drop. That's exactly the example that the Super Data Science podcast gave.
So no more frantic searches at 2 a.m., hoping for that last-minute deal I'm sold. But what happens when we have multiple AI agents all working together?
That's where it gets even more interesting. Think of a symphony orchestra with all its different instruments. To create beautiful music, you need a conductor, right, to coordinate everything. That's where the Explained framework comes in. It's designed to optimize these multi-AI agent systems. It ensures they work together smoothly and efficiently.
So instead of one AI agent booking your flight, another one could be simultaneously checking your calendar for conflicts. And while yet another one is packing your suitcase, okay, maybe we're not there yet, but the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Exactly. And this shift could have massive implications for customer service. The Super Data Science podcast suggests that these AI agents could completely transform how companies interact with their clients.
Are we talking about like chatbots 2.0 or something entirely different?
Imagine AI agents that can provide personalized support 24/7. They can anticipate your needs before you even express them, and they can even resolve issues proactively. This level of service could lead to increased customer satisfaction and loyalty. It could even potentially reduce costs for businesses.
That all sounds amazing. But with this much power in the hands of AI, doesn't that raise some red flags? What about the potential for things to go wrong? Maybe even intentionally.
You're right to bring that up. The case of Sudhir Balaji. He was a former OpenAI whistleblower who was found dead in his apartment. It's a stark reminder of the darker side of this rapidly evolving technology. His family is pushing for an FBI investigation. And while we can't speculate, it definitely raises some unsettling questions.
It certainly brings a whole new layer of complexity to the conversation about AI and its impact on society. But OpenAI isn't ignoring these concerns, are they?
Not entirely. According to the Decoder, OpenAI has announced their plan to transition to a public benefit model. They're hoping to balance their drive for profit with a commitment to the greater good.
But is that even possible? Can a company that's pushing the boundaries of technology, potentially making billions, truly put the public good first?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And some former executives are publicly expressing skepticism about this move. They argue that the inherent conflict between prioritizing profits and societal good might be too big to overcome.
So where do we go from here? It feels like we're entering uncharted territory with AI advancing at such a rapid pace.
It is a bit like navigating uncharted waters. And speaking of navigating, let's shift our focus to how the landscape of AI itself is changing and what that means for you.
All right, let's explore this evolving AI landscape. One article from The Decoder had me particularly intrigued. It discussed Meta's vision for the future of social networks. They're talking about AI characters coexisting with human accounts on platforms like Instagram and Facebook.
Imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing posts from AI influencers, or even striking up a conversation with an AI friend. It raises fascinating questions about how we define real in a world where AI blurs the lines between human and machine.
Okay, now, that is wild. And while we're all pondering our future AI friends, there's another aspect of this evolving landscape that's already impacting us: the job market.
Absolutely. A recent article from Towards AI Medium outlined the top AI skills in 2025, and it highlighted the growing need for data scientists with deep expertise in their fields.
So it's not just about crunching numbers anymore. You need to really understand the real-world applications of the data. That makes sense. But what about other industries? How is AI changing the game beyond data science?
Well, how about the world of 3D modeling? NVIDIA, the graphics card giant, has developed a new AI system that has the potential to revolutionize everything, from video games to architecture to medical imaging. This was showcased on 2-minute papers, and trust me, it's a game changer.
Okay, give me the rundown. How does this even work?
Think of it this way. You have an idea for a complex 3D model, maybe a futuristic city or a brand new product design. Instead of spending hours, even days, painstakingly building it from scratch, you give this AI a few prompts and it does the heavy lifting for you.
So instead of needing specialized software and years of training, anyone could potentially create incredibly detailed 3D models with just a few instructions. That's incredible, but also a little intimidating.
It's both awe-inspiring and a little unsettling, right? It speaks to this larger trend of AI becoming more accessible and user-friendly. We're moving away from these highly specialized tools towards AI systems that anyone can use, regardless of their technical background.
But doesn't that also mean the potential for misuse grows exponentially?
It's a valid concern. And it circles back to those ethical questions we touched on earlier. As AI becomes more powerful and more accessible, it becomes even more crucial for us to consider the potential consequences, both positive and negative.
It seems like every advancement in AI comes with both incredible opportunities and a whole new set of challenges. This brings us back to OpenAI and their quest to balance profit with societal good.
And it's worth noting that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella was quoted in the Decoder saying he believes OpenAI could become as influential as Google or even Microsoft itself. It's a pretty bold statement, would you say?
Absolutely. It really puts into perspective the high stakes and the breakneck speed at which the AI industry is evolving. And it makes me even more curious about what's next. What other incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner?
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? We're on the cusp of something truly extraordinary, but where it takes us next is still being written.
Well, I don't know about you, but my head is already spinning. Maybe we should pause here for a moment and let our listeners catch their breath. Okay, so we've been talking about how the AI world is evolving, but what does that actually mean for us? Is it all 3D models and AI friends on Instagram, or is there something deeper going on here?
Well, think back to that Miss Moneypenny on steroids analogy. As AI agents become more sophisticated, they're not just reacting to our requests, they're anticipating them, like those flight booking agents we talked about.
Right. Always on the lookout for a deal. But doesn't that level of automation also have the potential to impact jobs? What happens to the travel agents, the customer service reps? If AI is handling everything...
It's a valid concern, and it's something we see reflected in the Top AI Skills in 2025 article from Towards AI Medium. The emphasis is shifting towards data scientists who don't just have technical skills, but also deep knowledge of specific industries.
So it's not just about crunching numbers anymore. You need to understand the real-world applications of AI, how it impacts different sectors, even the ethical implications.
Exactly. It's about seeing the bigger picture, understanding the potential consequences, and being prepared to navigate those complexities.
Speaking of navigating, remember that crazy idea from the Decoder about Meta's vision for social media AI characters hanging out with us on Instagram, posting, commenting, maybe even becoming influencers?
It's definitely a mind-bending concept, but it also highlights a crucial question. What does it mean to be real in an increasingly digital world where AI is becoming more sophisticated and integrated into our lives?
Is it even possible to tell the difference anymore? And if not, does it even matter? These are the kinds of philosophical rabbit holes AI seems to be pushing us down.
And that's where critical thinking becomes so essential. We can't just blindly accept these advancements. We need to question, analyze, and engage in these conversations to shape how AI evolves.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a new frontier, full of both incredible potential and unknown risks.
John Naughton. In his article for The Guardian, he made a fascinating comparison. He suggested that AI agents could eventually become as commonplace as spreadsheets.
Okay, hold on. Spreadsheets are everywhere, from businesses to schools. Even my grandma uses them to track her knitting projects. So if AI agents become that ubiquitous, how would that change our daily lives?
Imagine a world where everyone has access to these incredibly powerful tools. AI agents could be helping us with everything, from managing our finances, to planning our vacations, to even learning new skills.
That sounds amazing, but also a little terrifying. What happens to privacy in a world where AI agents know everything about us? And what about control? Who's ultimately responsible when these AI agents make decisions? Especially if those decisions have real-world consequences.
Those are crucial questions, and they underscore the importance of not just focusing on the technological advancements, but also on the ethical and societal implications of widespread AI adoption.
It feels like this conversation could go on forever. We've barely scratched the surface of what AI is capable of and where it might be taking us.
And that's exactly the point. This is a dynamic, evolving field. There are going to be new breakthroughs, new challenges, and new questions emerging all the time.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about as they navigate this rapidly changing landscape?
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay informed and engaged. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and think critically about how AI is shaping the world around us.
And remember, this isn't just some abstract futuristic concept. AI is already impacting our lives in countless ways, even if we don't always realize it.
So the key is to be aware, be curious, and be ready to adapt. Because the future of AI is being shaped right now, and we all have a role to play in shaping it.
Well said. And on that note, we want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.
We hope this has sparked your curiosity and given you a glimpse into the incredible potential and the important questions that AI presents. Remember, this is just the beginning. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those questions coming.
So we've talked about AI agents' ethical concerns, the evolving landscape. It's a lot to take in. But I think what's sticking with me is that idea of AI agents becoming like spreadsheets. Like just as commonplace.
Yeah, it's a powerful thought, isn't it? Think about it. Spreadsheets. They're everywhere, in every business, every school. Even my grandma uses them to track her knitting projects. Now imagine that level of ubiquity, but with the power and complexity of AI agents.
It's almost like AI is becoming the new operating system for our lives. But if that's the case, what about security? What happens if these AI agents get hacked or manipulated?
That's a great question. And it highlights why robust security measures are so important to protect these systems. We need to be thinking about things like encryption authentication, access controls, to ensure these AI agents are used safely and responsibly.
And what about the data these AI agents are collecting? We already know there are concerns about privacy with the amount of data being gathered by tech companies. Wouldn't this just amplify those concerns?
Absolutely. As AI agents become more integrated into our lives, they'll have access to even more of our personal data. That means we really need to have some serious conversations about data, privacy, transparency, and control. Do we have the right to know what data our AI agents are collecting, how it's being used, and who has access to it?
It feels like we're entering this new era where the lines between technology, ethics, even philosophy are blurring. It's exciting, but it's also a lot to process.
It is a lot to process.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that we're all still figuring this out. There's no roadmap, no instruction manual for navigating the complexities of AI.
So where does that leave us? What can we as individuals do to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Well, I think the first step is to be aware. Pay attention to how AI is being used in your life, in your work, in the world around you. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about how you interact with this technology.
And don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, explore different perspectives, engage in conversations about the ethical implications of AI.
Right. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the conversations we have, the actions we take.
Well said. And on that note, we want to thank you all for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Remember, the world of AI is constantly evolving. There are new breakthroughs happening all the time. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. The future of AI is in our hands.